1977 was a wild, glittering year for R&B, when the dance floor met the soul and radio waves shimmered with fresh voices. You might remember how Carrie Lucas had us swaying under mirror balls with that groove-soaked debut. And trust me, the falsetto heartbreak at number 2, it still stings sweet. These are 10 forgotten one-hit R&B wonders from 1977, songs that lit up the charts, then vanished, but still live on in our hearts. Number 10, I Just Can't Say Goodbye by Philly Devotions. The falsetto farewell that fluttered and faded.
I just can't say goodbye, girl.
Released on the Tiny Dondi label in 1907, Philly Devotions brought classic East Coast vocal group harmony to the disco soul era with this lush heartbreaker, riding the line between doo-wop nostalgia and modern R&B smoothness. The tracks it showcased that aching falsetto lead that felt like a cousin to Blue Magic or the Stylistics.
The other day when I held you also.
The group had found minor regional success earlier, but this was their national shot, and they almost made it. I Just Can't Say Goodbye got some airplay in Philly and New York, even brushing the lower rungs of the R&B charts. But with limited label support and a crowded soul field, the group vanished just as quickly. Still, when you hear it, you can almost see a rainy city street.
I thought that things would be okay after a while.
Neon flickering and a love slipping away in slow motion. A forgotten gem that could have been a slow jam staple. If that was the sound of tender heartbreak, this next one's pure rooftop joy. Number 9, Dance With Me by Peter Brown, Miami's funky whisper to the world.
Come on and dance with me. Ladies, get up off your...
Now, this one might spark a memory. Peter Brown wasn't a traditional soul crooner. He came from Miami's synthy, sultry scene and dropped this slick bass-driven groove in 1977 on Drive Records. Dance With Me had a shimmer that felt half R&B, half disco magic, wrapped in that seductive whisper that made you lean closer to the speaker.
Keep dancing 'cause it's making me high. You gotta keep dancing. You gotta keep dancing.
The track climbed into the Billboard R&B Top 10 and even crossed over to the pop charts. But here's the twist. Despite that hit, Brown never quite landed another R&B success. He'd write hits for others and dabble in pop, but for soul radio, this was his moment. Imagine cruising Ocean Drive in '77, windows down, this track bouncing off pastel buildings and heat waves.
Gotta keep on making me high. Gotta keep on making me high.
If you feel...
It's the sound of Miami nightlife before the synth pop wave crashed in. And while Peter Brown kept moving, this song stands frozen in that golden hour glow. And just wait till you hear the gospel-powered groove coming in at number 8. Number 8, Trying to Love Too by William Bell, the double-edged ballad that cut deep.
When you're trying to love too.
By 1977, William Bell was no newcomer. He'd been one of the original voices of Stax, co-writing Born Under a Bad Sign and delivering slow-burning soul hits throughout the 60s. But when Stax collapsed in the mid-70s, Bell found himself adrift until this sultry confession track gave him a last-minute comeback. Trying to Love Too
It's so easy to do.
was released on Mercury Records and slid right onto the R&B charts like it had always belonged. It's a laid-back southern fried groove hiding a storm of conflict. Bell's velvet voice admitting to juggling 2 women, knowing somebody's heart will break. Audiences were captivated by the honesty, and the single shot up to number 1 on the R&B charts. But despite the smash, Bell couldn't repeat the magic in the disco-dominated airwaves of the late 70s.
To keep my woman strong, trying to love too.
The hit became a swan song. Still, throw this on today, and it's pure candlelit truth, honest, heavy and smooth. If that was Confession in Silk, get ready for a cosmic jam session from left field. Number 7. Be Mine Tonight by Vaneese Thomas, Memphis royalties lost slow burner. Vaneese Thomas had soul in her blood. Her father was the legendary Rufus Thomas. Her sister Carla helped define Stax. So when Vaneese stepped into the spotlight in '77, expectations were sky high. Be Mine Tonight dropped on Polydor, a moody mid-tempo ballad that floated on jazz chords and torchlight vocals.
You look what you done to me.
It had everything: pedigree, polish, and that late-night FM vibe. But timing wasn't on her side. R&B was shifting toward disco and funk flash, and this smoky track, steeped in classic Memphis soul, got left behind. It charted briefly, turned a few heads in the industry, and then faded into crate digger heaven.
A long talk of you can if you can.
Still, when her voice climbs in the bridge, pleading but proud, you can feel the history she carried. It's a ballad for rainy drives, for lovers who never quite found the right time. And if that stirred your heart, the next one's gonna shake your hips. Number 6 is all about groove and grit. Number 6, You Know How to Love Me Right by Empress, the groove that burned too quick.
You know they feel like
Disco was everywhere in '77, but few tracks felt as fiercely funky as this underground scorcher from Empress. Backed by Crown Heights Affairs players and released on Prelude Records, this was an R&B disco hybrid that had both the street swagger and dance floor polish. It bubbled just under the national charts, but in New York clubs, it was the sound. Led by a powerhouse female vocal often mistaken for Chaka Khan, Empress threw everything into this one.
something deep inside of you has weight.
Tight horns, slinky bass, and lyrics that balanced sensuality with soul fire. DJ spun it endlessly at the garage, but the group never found the right label support to break bigger. Still, it's a time capsule of '77's dance floor dreams. Platform shoes, polyester suits, and love found under flashing lights. You drop this track, and even today, the floor moves. If these forgotten grooves from 1967 are bringing back memories or making you discover new ones, give this video a thumbs up. It helps keep the soul spinning. And don't go anywhere. We've got 5 more hidden R&B gems that deserve their spotlight. Number 5, Boogie Bodyland by the Bar-Kays, funk revival in a post-tragedy world. By 1967, the Bar-Kays were survivors. A decade earlier, the original lineup had been tragically cut short in the plane crash that claimed Otis Redding. Rising from the ashes, the group rebuilt, toughened their sound, and leaned deep into the emerging funk scene. Boogie Bodyland wasn't their biggest hit, but it was a definitive one-hit wonder for the disco R&B crowd. Released on Mercury Records, the song rapped relentless funk guitar with cosmic synth stabs and a bass line that practically dared you not to move. Its lyrics offered pure party fantasy, an imaginary land where everybody grooves, no questions asked. It got modest chart attention, but became a quiet club anthem for those in the know. You can feel the sweat of packed basement clubs when this comes on.
Now when I ring this bell, let me hear you yell. Oh my, come on.
The scent of incense and the heat of the dance floor come alive. It was funk's promise of escape, pressed into vinyl. If that was a fantasy groove, what's next comes from a place of raw soul and slow burning sorrow. Number 4, Baby Don't You Know by Wildflower, the sweet soul cry lost to time.
And many times her eyes fought back the tears.
this one might have slipped through even the most dedicated R&B fans' radar. Wildflower was a mysterious outfit, likely studio assembled, who dropped this stunning single on MCA in 1967 and disappeared just as quickly. But oh, that song. Baby Don't You Know is classic quiet storm soul, mellow keys, weeping guitar, and a lead vocal that trembles with raw sincerity.
Be careful how you touch her, for she'll win.
It didn't chart high, but those who caught it on late night radio or in a dusty jukebox remember. It's a song made for last chances and late apologies. There's barely any info about the group, which only adds to the legend. Some say it was a side project of session players from Philly. Others swear it was recorded in LA in just one take. But the emotion is unmistakable.
Let her cry, for she's a...
The hurt's still fresh. Forgotten maybe, but never fake. And if that one tugged your heart, number 3 is about to take you on an elevator ride to funky flirtation. Number 3, Heaven on the 7th Floor by Paul Nicholas, the pop crossover that flirted with R&B magic. Here comes a curveball. British actor turned singer Paul Nicholas wasn't your typical R&B artist. He was better known on the West End stage, but in 1907 he stumbled into the soul scene with Heaven on the 7th Floor, a bubbly, borderline cheeky pop-funk hybrid that somehow became an unlikely R&B radio favorite. Released on RSO Records, the song's disco pulse, playful falsetto, and tongue-in-cheek lyrics found traction across formats. It reached number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100 and crept into the R&B charts briefly. While purists debated its genre placement, DJs spun it next to the Ohio Players and Heatwave like it belonged. It's all bell bottoms and bright lights, an elevator ride to flirtation, fantasy, and fun. Nicholas never repeated the feat on R&B airwaves, making this hit a glittery one-and-done moment in soul crossover history. From funky flirtation to gospel-stained fire, what's coming in at number 2 might just stop you in your tracks. Number 2, Love Jones by Brighter Side of Darkness, the teenage slow jam that left a mark. Technically released at the tail end of 1906, Love Jones surged into 1911 with the kind of emotional pull few songs could match. Brighter Side of Darkness were barely out of high school when they recorded this Chicago soul slow jam for 20th Century Records.
But now that I'm here, I don't wanna...
And yet, it hit with grown-up heartache and yearning, a spoken word intro, a trembling falsetto, dreamy strings that float like cigarette smoke in a quiet room. The track soared to number 3 on the R&B charts and even crept into the pop top 20. But just as quickly as it rose, the group dissolved. They couldn't hold on to the spotlight, but the feeling they captured in that one moment became legend. Love Jones became more than a song. It was a phrase, a feeling, a part of Black romantic language. You'd hear it in movies, poems, and mixtapes passed hand to hand. They vanished fast, but that love still lingers. And if you thought that was unforgettable, wait until you hear the raw truth waiting at number 1. Number 1, Somebody's Been Sleeping by 100 Proof and Aged in Soul. The ultimate betrayal groove that said it all. This one may have first dropped in 1970, but in 1977, it came roaring back on late night radio, rediscovered by soul DJs and fans hungry for emotional storytelling with groove. 100 Proof and Aged in Soul was a Detroit supergroup, fronted by Joe Stubbs, brother of the Four Tops Levi Stubbs, and packed with Motown veterans. Their biggest moment came with this soul burner. Released on Hot Wax Records, the label launched by Holland Dozier Holland after leaving Motown. Somebody's Been Sleeping flipped a fairy tale into a grown-up nightmare. Joe's raspy voice growls out the unforgettable line, "Somebody's been sleeping in my bed," and you feel the room get still. The horns stab, the rhythm builds. And the betrayal unfolds like a short film. It cracked the R&B top 10 and hit number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100. Then, like so many great soul acts of the 70s, they disappeared from the mainstream. But this track still stands tall. A one-hit wonder, yes, but unforgettable. From Smoky Confessions to Dance Floor Fire, these forgotten one-hit wonders from 1977 prove that even a single hit can leave a lifetime echo. Thanks for joining us on this Rhythm Rewind. Subscribe to keep the groove alive and never miss our next countdown. And if you're ready for more, click the end screen to watch our next video, 10 Forgotten One-Hit R&B Wonders from 1976, The Beat Goes On.